Hey there, kings and queens. Welcome back to another episode of Faith Helps Podcast, where we bridge the gap between faith and psychology, all in the effort to show you that you need both in order to become the best version of yourself. And by best version of yourself, I mean the version that God intended you to be. My hope is that you leave every episode feeling encouraged, inspired, healed in some area of your life, but most importantly, challenged to keep working towards that best version of yourself. And today's no different. I'm your host, Dr. Diamond Booth, and I'm so glad you have joined us again. Y'all see I got the guns out. Ow, ow, ow. See? Okay, look. I'm working on it, okay? Progress, not perfection. Anyway, today's episode, I've kind of been mulling over for the past 48 hours. One of the things that I've really been debating about, and I actually want to hear from you guys. So drop comments. I don't know why y'all prefer DMs. Don't be shy. Just drop the comment. I kind of need to see more comments. Okay. So just give me feedback on this decision I'm trying to make with the length of my podcast episodes. So I've gotten some feedback that they are a bit lengthy, and I had to agree that that is true. They are a bit lengthy. Not so much the more recent ones, but the ones before, they were a bit lengthy. And I wrestle with that, and maybe it's a pride thing that I need to explore a bit more. Part of my frustration with the decision of whether or not to shorten them and be more concise, on one hand, I see how it could be beneficial because I do want to respect your time. I do want you to get the information, be able to apply it, and move on. Sometimes, though, I'm sharing stories, and those stories have information in it that I feel can be applicable to your life. It also is a bit of a challenge for me, on the other hand, because I think about how people spend hours watching foolishness online, such as fighting or dances and videos of animated AI generated content that isn't real, but it's just all types of stuff. And so I really wrestle with giving into that change of shortening the clips or the episodes, and by doing that, risking leaving out information that I feel like would be really beneficial. And so that's something that I'm just thinking about, but I do want you guys' feedback on what would be most beneficial and helpful to you. I do want to respect people's time. I do want to be mindful of being concise and getting to the point. At the same time, I don't want to lose the value that comes with a more casual conversation that isn't boom, 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 and just leave it high and dry like that. I mean, I want to do that, okay? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. As far as today's episode, it actually stems from a decision that I had to make on the business side when it comes to this podcast, and also just how I present myself online. So there was something that was said in a former episode a while back, when I first started the podcast episode, that I realized I no longer agreed with. And I was trying to debate whether or not to remove the episode entirely, because when I went back and I was looking at the analytics, the episode did really good. It was actually one of the more popular episodes. The part that I wrestled with is the fact that there was something that I personally taking accountability, that I said in that episode that I no longer view as fruitful. And I saw how it could be damaging or hurtful to certain populations or people with certain perspectives and beliefs. And it was actually the episode called What the Friend, where I'm having a conversation with my, as I refer to her, sick sister in Christ. And as we were just having the conversation, different perspectives on spirituality came up. And there was a moment where I kind of made a joke that has kind of been coming back to my mind here and there. And I kept feeling like, should I take that out? Should I cut it? And I didn't. And I've never gotten any negative feedback on that statement that I made. I don't even think people really like noticed it, or not enough people saw it. But when I went back and looked at the analytics, I was like wrestling, and I made the decision, okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and like trim it out. Come to find out, I can't just trim out or edit out that video. I would have to repost the whole episode. And so that was one part. And then when I was looking at the analytics, I'm like, but this is the episode that did so good. It got the most views. It seemed to resonate with people. I had people, that was one of the episodes that actually got feedback from people saying like, oh my gosh, I listened to the episode with you and your friend, you're sick. And, I got this from that, or I like this and that. And thank you for sharing this. Because in that episode, I also shared very transparently about my experiences in a very toxic and unhealthy relationship. And a lot of people found freedom and validation in that. And I didn't want to discard it because I felt like there was still value in it. And so I was mulling over it. I was like, God, like, I really don't know if I should take it out. And then there was the whole moral piece of it, because I was like, well, I said it wasn't wrong. It just was insensitive, and it's going to push people away when I'm actually trying to bring more people to God. I don't want to become a stumbling block to nobody. And I don't want to become a stumbling block or another reason someone says, oh, see, that's why I can't fool with church people, or that's why the Christians are so close-minded, or X, Y, Z. I don't want to be another reason for someone to be able to say that. So as I was just like sitting and thinking about it, God reminded me of this like adage that I heard someone say, and I can't remember where I heard it, but it was the idea of, if someone, say you're very thirsty and someone offers you a cup of water, but they put just a teeny drop of poison in that cup of water, would you still drink it? Obviously, no, you would not still drink it, regardless of how thirsty you are. And yes, it's water and you need water. It still contains poison. And I was thinking about that, like, okay, God, like, all right, the math ain't math, and how does this apply to this? Like, carry the 1 divided by 2. And I was thinking about the fact that, yes, as I look at the analytics, the episode did very well. I got a lot of positive feedback. But what is it going to cost someone, even if it's just one person? A lot of times you hear people talk about, oh, I just want to change one person's life. Well, what if you hurt just one person? What if you push just one person further away from God? Have you thought about like that side of it? And as I was thinking about that in relation to that episode, I ultimately made the decision to delete it and take it down. Because yes, many people may already have saw it and many have not. And I don't want to run the risk of that one person who, takes any type of offense from it without like full, clarity and conversation on like where that statement was coming from. So I made that decision. And then I started thinking about that image more of like how in so many areas of our lives, we make the decision to drink that cup with just a teeny drop of poison because it's still water. We don't think about the common sense aspect of you're still drinking poison, no matter how diluted it is, no matter what else is in that, you're drinking poison. And I want to ask you guys, what other areas of your life are you choosing to still drink the poison? Because it's mixed with a little lemonade, or it's mixed with your favorite juice. I'm sorry. You guys probably like, I don't care. I don't even drink lemonade. Okay. Well, that little bit of poison is mixed with your rum and Coke. You still want to drink it? Okay. I knew that would get somebody. No, you wouldn't. And for my wine drinkers, if I give you a glass of wine, but you know that it was this teeny little microscopic drop of poison, would you still drink it? No, you wouldn't. But we're doing that in so many areas of our life. There are so many areas of our life where we're like, oh, just a little bit of, poison, just a little bit of changing my character, just a little bit of compromising my morals and my values, just a little bit of sin. And we keep making this decision over and over again. I gave the example of business. It's no secret that in business, a lot of people make decisions to like cut corners. Okay, you're cutting the corners because you want to grow in some way, or you see the benefit in, cutting the corners. But what is going to be the immediate or long-term impact of that, or implications of that? If you are cutting corners and then now people don't trust you and they don't trust your leadership, now you're risking an entire business, all because you wanted to just put a little bit of poison in it, just a little bit of harm in it. It's not that bad. Or a little bit of temptation. You're on your abstinence journey, and Lord knows it's a struggle. Okay, I understand. And you're like, I'm just gonna, we're just gonna spend the night. We're just gonna Netflix and chillax. Okay. And then next thing you know, Netflix and chillaxing turned into, a little bit more of bumping and grinding. And now you risk that little bit of poison for what you thought was a good thing. And it's hard to make the decision to say no, even when something looks good. But you know in your hearts of hearts, in your mind, logically, emotionally, all of that, that's still not going to be good for you. Or you make the decision when it comes to your faith of, yeah, I believe in God, but I'm gonna add in a little bit of this. Like, God is God enough on his own. He don't need you to add nothing to him. Okay? And it's interesting that I'm coming to this point. I didn't even plan this, but that is almost specifically related to the comment that I said in the episode that I ultimately decided to take down. Sometimes what I see in Christianity and with people in their walk with God, they decide that God alone, prayer alone, fasting alone, all of that is just not enough. And so they want to add in other things like trying ayahuasca, or they want to add in worshiping other gods too. Or they're like, I believe in God, but I'm also worshiping this or practicing this. If you were in a relationship with someone and they were like, I love you, but I also am, having some nightcaps with her over there, the average person is not going to be okay with that. So why are you doing that to God? That's literally what we do to God. God, you are great. I love you. I'm worshiping you. Okay, amen. Hallelujah. Shando. And then on the weekends, you're like, but I also want to open my third eye, or I want to dabble in all these other things that is not, now at this point, it's no longer opinion. Biblically, we're told not to do it. And we're told not to do it not because God is trying to hide something from you. He is trying to protect you. He is trying to keep you pure. He's trying to keep you in a space where he can continue to develop you and grow you without you being in an environment or taking risks that could compromise your entire salvation. Which kind of ties into what I had said last episode of how sometimes we look at God's rules or we look at boundaries as like a penalty or a consequence, when in actuality, it's ultimately for our good. I think about it even with my clients when they are saying that they want to continue with therapy, but I'm seeing the growth, I'm seeing the improvement, and I know that realistically you are ready. It is time for you to fly your little way out of this nest, okay? And there's fear, or there's anxiety, or there's nervousness, or sometimes people just like being in therapy. Some people just like having someone to talk to. But in all actuality, I am doing a disservice of you if I continue having you come into the space and hindering you and making and putting you setting you up for the idea that you need me in order to continue growing. In therapy, I am just the person here who's helping you figure out the answers that you already truly know. And it would be a disservice if you keep someone in a space that is hindering them. That's an hour out of their time that they could be devoting to something else, or they start to become dependent on you almost as a crutch, and they start losing the power that they have within themselves. The other day, I posted a short on Instagram about the fact that a lot of times we're constantly giving our power away to other people. We give our power away to our past, the people who put us in our current situation that we, dislike. And we blame, and we accuse, and we focus on that. And the more that we do that, we are giving those people the power. The less accountability we take for our current situation and what we want for our future, we will always continue to feel powerless. So my encouragement is that we start to take more power back over how our lives look today and how we want it to look. Because at the end of the day, it's you and God. Okay? Those are the only people who have a say in your future. You are in control, not the people from the past, no one else. Regardless, if God wants you somewhere, He's going to get you there. If you have this passion, this goal, this desire, this aspiration that is on your heart, you are going to get there. No matter how many roadblocks come up, don't give up and get distracted by the challenges, whether it be in the form of a person or other circumstances, throw you off that focus and cause you to just throw away your power. And coming back to the story, you are the one who has the power over whether or not you choose to drink that cup of poison or accept that cup of poison in whatever area of your life, whether it be business or whether it be relationships or your faith walk or all these different areas. You are the only one who has the power to decide if you're going to compromise. My advice to you would be to take a step back and really ask yourself, for this metaphorical cup, wherever area of your life it is in, ask yourself, is it really worth it? Is it worth taking that risk? And what is it going to cost you? I tell my clients all the time, when you are making a decision, in every moment, ask yourself, what is this going to cost me? Sometimes we focus on what we're going to get, but what is it going to cost you? And are you ready to pay that price if you have to? If push comes to shove and it's time to pay up, are you ready to pay that cost for whatever it is? If you are struggling with identifying, okay, where is this poison in my life, this metaphorical poison, or where is this area of compromise? Look for where you see your values being out of alignment. If you notice that you are a bit more withholding and you tell like little white lies and at your job, per se, or you're, taking things that you're technically not supposed to be taking, right? What cost is that having on your character? Because other people may not see it, but God sees it. And if God was to stand in front of you right now and say, okay, can you explain that? Why did you do that? And you're like, oh, well, I need it, or it's not that serious, or it's not that big of a deal. And he's like, what did my word tell you? Like, His word is clear. What did His word tell you? And when we make these compromises, a lot of times, if we're honest with ourselves, we realize that it's something that we're not trusting God for. When we make the compromise to compromise, to give up. I'm trying to find a different word other than compromise. When we forfeit our integrity at work or in business because of the potential good that could come of it, that immediate gratification or that immediate promotion, when we do that, we are also starting to build a habit, for one, but we are also starting to build a narrative about our character. And we show God what he can and can't trust us with. And we are showing God what we do and don't trust him with. Because when we make those decisions, we're saying, God, I don't trust that you can get me the promotion without me telling this lie. I don't trust, God, that you can get me the job without me hiding my arrest history. Or you're saying, God, I don't trust you can multiply my business or multiply my assets without me cutting corners here with my taxes, or making this like short-term decision in order to get a little bit more money. And then I'll go back to being honest and truthful and forthcoming with things. You making that decision doesn't wipe out those moments where you intentionally say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and drink this poison right now, and then I'll go back to being good. And it reminds me of a time in my life where I came to this fork in the road where God literally told me, you cannot continue any further with me until you correct this lie that you told. And this is actually a large part of the book that I'm writing, The Fight, stems from this coming to Jesus again moment where he was like, this is where I draw the line. Until you are honest about this, we are not going any further. Like, there was always going to be that poison in our relationship if you don't correct this now. And I don't want you to have to get to that point where you get to that fork in the road and God is like, you got to go correct some things back there. Because it's so much harder to go back and correct something. In the moment, make the right decision. And you start that by right now, take an assessment and analyze your area. Look for the areas in your life where you're starting to compromise your character, or you're starting to compromise your morals, your values, the things that you say that you value. How are you going to say you value a monogamous relationship, but then your actions are showing otherwise? Or you are not even faithful in your current relationships, whether it be family or friendships. How are you showing up there? And set limits and boundaries on what you allow yourself to take in and consume. Draw a line, just like God drew a line with me. I'm encouraging you now, get ahead of it by drawing a line on what things are you not going to compromise on. What things are you not going to forfeit who God had called you to be and intended you to be, just for a moment of gratification or a moment of elevation that is all going to be wiped away if your decision to take that little bit of poison gets exposed. Now, I'm just going to end it right there. Yeah. I try to keep it short, y'all. I tried. Y'all let me know how you feel about that question. At the beginning of this episode, I know I just dropped y'all off like, boom, mic drop, and shifted topics. I know. That was a poor transition. Okay? I understand. I don't know why I keep saying okay like that, but it's so fun. Anyway, y'all pray for my focus. I hope that you guys really got the message there. I really hope that something that I said like settles with you or resonates with you in some way. Don't accept the poison. Like, just don't do it. Okay? I don't know how else to say it. I'm a little bit stuck on it in this one, and I don't know why. But yeah, I think my prayer is that like every person who does hear this, like whatever you are wrestling with right now, where you're deciding, you're like right in the crux of making the decision of whether or not to do something that you know isn't right, but you're just so focused on the benefit that could come of it. It's not worth, oh my gosh, I promise you it's not worth it. as someone who's been there, done that, it's so not worth it. Don't do it. I promise you, God will give another. There's always another door that God is waiting to show you. Okay? There, like, you just don't get distracted. It's so crucial in this moment. Like, don't get distracted. Don't do it. Okay? Just don't do it. I don't know why I feel. Yeah, I feel a little emotional. I don't know why. Just don't do it. I really hope that this message blesses you, encourages you, inspires you, heal you in some way, but most importantly, challenges you to make the hard decision of becoming the better version of yourself. I don't want to minimize that it is hard. It is hard becoming a better person. It is hard to make the decision to try to work towards becoming 1% better. It's really hard, especially if you're a child of God. Like, Lord, I love you, but it's the struggle. I love you and it's a struggle. Just trying to be your good and faithful servant, as Cat Williams said. But yeah, I hope that you guys take something from this. Like, share, subscribe. I was also told by the analytics team to start saying that. I don't like it because I just feel as though if you want to share and subscribe, you'll do it. So just prove them wrong and start doing it, because I don't want to waste breath asking you to do it. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a great week and have a great week. Believe in yourself. Believe in God. Let God show up for you. Whatever the need is that you're trying to get met, God will meet it. Don't compromise who you are. Don't compromise your character. Don't compromise the work that you've been doing. You've been making the decision to do the right thing. Keep on that path. It will pay off. Even if you're like, I said last time it was going to pay off and it didn't, it will pay off. Keep staying true to you. Keep staying true to who God called you to be. That version of yourself that He knows you to be. And remember, faith helps. Bye, y'all.